Morning. I got some thoughts. So there was the Box Elder County Commission voted yesterday on whether or not they were going to allow this data center to be built. And I did a quick video yesterday because I was like, if you go look on every county's website, they will have like you kind of zoom in and have to look at it, but they have land ownership. So you have to be able to see who owns what parcels of land, right? So it's a benefit feature. It's nice the public can access it. Otherwise, just anybody and everybody could just like make up, or it's a way to kind of publicly account for who owns what. And I quickly looked at where they would have built this new Stratos data center, because they talked about how the government is going to own all this land. But when you look at it, conveniently, most of the land is owned by private individuals, meaning the water rights and all the things that they're accessing is from these private individuals. And a couple individual ranches and things like that stick out way more than the rest because they own a ton of these parcels of land. And you know what? They could just be generationally like families who have had this grazing land out there forever. That's entirely possible. But it seems inconvenient that they did the whole dog and pony show. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna listen to the public's concerns, and like they had to move from their like office up to like the rodeo show house, and it was packed out, and enough people like were pissed, and they're just like, nah, we're just gonna do it, and they all unanimously vote that it's gonna happen. And the MIDA board, which is this group here in Utah that is supposed to help with military development and things like that. Like, I'm not in essence opposed to that organization and what it does, but how it's allocating some of its resources and why, I think, is a little bit weird. And 3 of the 5 are real estate developers. So they kind of pitched this project and they're rushing it through. We're in a drought year. It's just like we're in a drought year, so it's a bad look any way you dice it. But I really wonder if it's just the ethics violations that seem to be occurring. Because like, how could you have literally thousands of people show up from your county of Box Elder County, like a noticeable portion of the voting bloc showed up to say, hey, no, we're not okay with this. And then, right, like, are the county commissioners getting kickbacks from these families? They obviously know each other. They know who these people are, because most of the landowners are registered in like Box Elder County cities. So like, it's not like they're California investors. I mean, I guess they could be, but just kind of in a democratic system, I think this is the most full-throated ignoring of the people's concerns I've ever seen. And it's a bunch of like, we know better, right? And so I'm like, I think everybody who's in office right now, top to bottom, should be unelected. Every single one. Like, I'm not saying you can't get projects done, and like, so projects shouldn't be held up, but like, there's no addressing of the concerns of like the water. Like, are you going to add additional water to the system? No. Are you going to like, oh, we're gonna have a new closed loop system that nobody's ever seen before, or maybe they have. I'm not really like super knowledgeable yet on data center cooling capacity, but you would think the NSA data facility here in Utah would have that same capacity. Uh-oh, that car was flying, and that police officer is not doing a thing. Interesting. No, I'm not a resident of Box Elder County, but I have like the way that it's going to affect the Great Salt Lake, Willard Bay, the water. Like, it really feels like rich people have become so disconnected with the rest of the people that they're just like, yeah, whatever I want to do. Like, I'm going to develop. I'm going to just build whatever, wherever, how. Like, we don't have any like zoning and planning commissions. And it'd be one thing if they're like, we're going to build all this industrial stuff out here, and like that's what's going to happen. But that's not what's happening. It's like, somebody commented on one of my things, well, it's private land and all. It's like, no, I mean, sure, it is private land, apparently, and private, and they're like, oh, and the water rights. I'm like, yeah, but the amount that you're going to take is going to affect other people's water rights. And it's like, and it's going to be funded by tax dollars because it's such a massive project. So you can't be like, oh, well, you do whatever you want on your land. Hey, you know what? I can't have chickens in most cities. So like cities have thoughts and feelings about whether or not you have chickens, and you're going to tell me that you can do whatever you want on your land suddenly? I don't buy it. I don't buy it. It feels very much like rules are for you and not for me. I think that's what bothers me, and I think bothers most people. Equally applied based on your economic status. And I've always known that. And I think that's if you are poor and a minority, you are very aware of that. And if you are poor, you are very aware that the justice system may not work for you at all. And the way they keep ignoring things, I kind of think it's we're getting to a we the people hold these to be self-evident situation where it's like, if you're not going to enforce the laws on the books, and if we're not going to enforce the law, get it off the books. Take it off the books. I do not know what this police car is doing other than making me very upset. Also, why is Highway Patrol driving SUVs? Like, what are we doing? How much are we, like, shouldn't you be driving, I'm not going to say Subaru, but like, isn't there and maybe they switch over to that new, like, the Dodge electric hybrid thing that has like a 600-mile range. Maybe that's a good idea, right? Can achieve all their things, that they can run all day without gassing up as often, especially with gas being what it is right now. What, 34 miles? All right. Anyway, it just seems wild that even city governments, they just ignore the will of the people, and it feels like they all operate like little dictatorships. and they just hook up their buddies and like, I mean, we have the technology now that like it is entirely possible that cities should be run like almost direct democracy, like a city council and a mayor to handle like base things, but then everything else you should just have everybody vote on, like Logan City app, and you just like, hey, we want to do this, and everybody just votes, or you vote quarterly on like major things. I think I'll have to do a deep dive on all those parcels of land and who owns them, and see if I can find the conflict of interest. Because there's no way they just vote like, oh yeah, pass it. Like that much concern from your community, and you just like unanimously vote to build it. And I said this yesterday. Like, well, I commented this on somebody's thing. It's like it feels like what they're trying to do is like shift the United States to a total war footing. Like try to do what's happening in Russia and other countries where they've gotten to a wartime economy where the government dictates and directs and is a lot more authoritarian in how it is doing things. But that's not where we're at, and that hasn't been what we've discussed, and we haven't actually declared war, and so trying to behave like that is inappropriate. Now you want to declare war and you're like, hey, we're building these nuclear power plants, we're doing this because this is happening, and we're forcing all these things, but like we're not, the people aren't reaping the benefits of AI. Even though Elon Musk now is like, oh well, there should be universal high income. Yeah, there should be. AI should be taxed, and I don't think a single person should ever lose a job because of AI. I think that should be illegal, personally, because AI should enhance people. I should be able to, if I can finish my entire job in 2 hours with the help of AI, I should still get paid. That was the whole thing about the Industrial Revolution, is the worker was supposed to benefit from the gains in efficiency, because now I could finish the job of stamping doohickey instead of all day on two doohickeys. I could do 20 in the same amount of time, or I could do 100 in a full day. And it's like, so, but we don't need to overproduce all the doohickeys, not necessarily. And I'm saying doohickey, like Henry Ford was talked like, he created like an extra day off, so people could buy his product, and like his employees, and it changed the way things happened, and we learned a bunch of things. And then it was always predicted, like back in like the 80s, that the work week would fall to 32 hours a week instead of like quote unquote 40. But in IT and like the IT industry, like the average work week is like 50 hours. So there's this dynamic of like, hey man, the wealthy have disproportionately benefited from the improves of efficiency, and they've gobbled up that and not shared it, and they've destroyed the middle class. And I think that's criminal. I think like it should almost be constitutional that we should have a robust middle class. Oh, but then you have to deal with things like democracy and like educated and like informed people who want, to have a voice, because that's how democracy works. You know what's annoying? Even if I found conflict of interest and corruption, there's already corruption in Box Elder County, right? Like they had a data breach that I don't think they ever reported. Like they had that judge and the fire chief that had some weird, uh, like they were involved in like child exploitation, but then they were also having like a gay relationship on the side. I'm not saying anything that a gay relationship is on the side, like, but when you're portraying yourselves as one thing and then you're having like a secret, you know, a secret relationship, it's kind of like, and I think they use these like behaviors that are in many aspects rejected by the predominant culture, right? So like if you were an overly like on the opposite side of this, you would be like, oh well, I'm really a Muslim or something like there, whatever's like a frowned upon behavior set is what they seem to participate in to lock you into the secret. And I wonder if it goes further than those. I wonder if our justice system is sick, inflicted by these people who don't think something's so bad because they don't view people as people. They don't view they view others as lesser. And it seems like there's a lot of people who live in Israel are like really bad at it right now, like super like Jewish. Not that all Jewish people are Jewish supremacists, and most people in most countries view their group as superior to another. That's most group, but some are taking it to like a very extreme. Like the Iranians, it's long been taught within like political science circles, like they look down upon the Palestinians and like the Lebanese. Like they are like in their tier of like there's Persians, there's Arabs, there's like like the Palestinians and Lebanese at the bottom. And so like they do think they are better and superior, and I imagine the Turks actually feel the same way. But you have that in Europe, you have that everywhere. You have that with the caste system in India. Like there's a lot of it. It's a inherent problem in most of the cultures on planet Earth. Maybe it's time for a spin-off state. Maybe it's time for a couple counties in northern Utah to break off into their own state. Maybe it's time for a couple counties out of Oregon to join Idaho. A realignment of states, borders. draft a new state with a new state constitution that's much more like your political capital on that, fine. Vote of no confidence. You're out. You can't build a coalition. You're done. Forcing your county and city officials to create that'd be an interesting idea. So instead of having so many political operatives, you dual hat. I bet you AI can draft that up real quick. Oh, is that a police car? Don't be the fastest car. Yep. Yeah, the cracks are starting to show in the system. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, the car in front of me or to the right of me, has sped up, so I can't get in front of him. The car behind me is riding my tail, and lovely, lovely, lovely. Don't you dare speed up. Just go ahead, dude. Go do you. Alright, hang on. I gotta figure out this road closure thing. Have a good morning.